seconds, 10 secondes.
Chers collègues, bon matin, bienvenue au Théâtre national de la presse. Mon nom est Chris Rands avec l'exécutif de la Press Gallery. We have with us Celine Back, the President of Analytica Advisors, and the Honorable Catherine McKenna, Minister of Environment and MP for Ottawa Centre here today. Celine will present her report, and then the Minister will comment. Minister's got to get to Cabinet around 9:10, but I see with our group here, we should be able to accomplish our goals. Standard, one question, one follow-up. List is open. Please.
Good morning, bonjour. Thank you for coming today. I will present the findings and recommendations of Analytica Advisors' 2016 report on the global and Canadian clean technology industry, our fifth such report. The global market for clean technology reached $1.1 trillion in 2014, up from $550 billion in 2005. Le marché des biens produits par l'industrie des technologies propres est passé de 550 milliards en 2005 à plus de 1 000 milliards en 2014. Cependant, notre part de marché sur la scène mondiale diminue. Canada is losing global market share. In that same period, Canada's ranking as a clean technology goods exporter fell from 14th to 19th place in the top 25 global exporters. Pendant cette période, notre part de marché a rétréci de 41%. Nous plaçons bon avant-dernier sur la liste des exportateurs. Pour la première fois en 6 ans, nous constatons un déclin des revenus dans l'ensemble de l'industrie. Up until 2 years ago, we reported growth of 4 times that of the overall Canadian economy, but that growth has stopped. Revenues are down from $11.7 billion in 2013 to $11.6 billion in 2014, at a time when the global industry is expanding fast. This report underlines the urgency of taking action to reverse this trajectory and get back to the growth of previous years. Because, by many measures, clean technology continues to be a great Canadian success story, especially when it comes to jobs. L'industrie des technologies propres constitue un grand succès canadien, particulièrement lorsqu'il s'agit d'emplois. Elle fournit du travail à 55 000 personnes dans près de 800 entreprises, soit plus que dans l'industrie de l'aérospatiale et de la foresterie. The clean technology industry added another 5,000 jobs this year. It now directly employs over 55,000 people in almost 800 firms. Many of these are young people working at the start of their careers in positions that range from finance to engineering to manufacturing and global sales. The people in this industry are working in companies that are creating and scaling up technologies to protect our environment. Les entreprises de technologie propre aideront le Canada à réduire ses émissions de 30% par rapport au niveau de 2005 d'ici 2030, comme il s'est engagé à le faire dans l'Accord de Paris. But crucially, the industry can also, with the right engagement from the private sector across all levels of government, and with an innovative approach to public and private finance, help Canada to deliver on the other half of the Vancouver Declaration, that of clean growth. Several industry leaders are here with us today and can attest to this. In this year's report, the industry demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is made up of firms that are globally competitive. For the first time, export revenues for Canada's clean technology firms surpassed half of total revenues, reaching $6.6 billion, with nearly a quarter of exports coming from markets beyond the U.S. En 2014, 87% des compagnies ont exporté leurs produits et services et 91% d'entre elles prévoient en faire autant en 2016. Cependant, le financement de ces projets destinés au marché étranger représente un grand obstacle. These companies are still investing heavily in innovation, spending over $1.2 billion in R&D and $7.6 billion cumulatively over the past 6 years, of which a remarkable 71% was from firms with less than $50 million in revenue. As you can tell from its heft, the report series primarily provides information and analysis that managers, investors, and policymakers need to make the decisions that make the difference between a company thriving or struggling. But it also plays a role in the wider national conversation about the future of our economy. So it doesn't just report on the data, it makes 7 recommendations. The first priority within Canada's current economic landscape is to stimulate deployment of clean technology innovation through combined private and public sector action. This includes implementing a substantial and rising price on carbon that will send a signal to all economic actors to examine the risks associated with energy and fossil fuel inputs. Puisque le prix initial sur le carbone n'arrivera pas à lui seul à stimuler la mise en place de nouvelles innovations, le Canada doit imposer des règles dans certaines industries en fonction des normes de rendement et exiger, si son prix est compétitif, l'utilisation de la meilleure technologie. Alongside this, Canada must implement policies that foster the procurement of scaled-up innovation in high-visibility projects, including infrastructure for our communities. There's an acknowledgement of the role of cities in fighting climate change. But as places for commerce and daily life, cities are also core to building new industries. 70% des entreprises de technologie propre se trouvent dans nos villes. Il faut donc les encourager à inclure dans le processus de renouvellement d'infrastructures des innovations qui auront un impact positif significatif. But infrastructure and procurement policies will not be effective unless we finance the deployment of clean technology based on the following action. Il faut que nos élus fournissent des garanties semblables à celles instaurées au siècle dernier pour assurer l'achat des maisons, pour que les villes ou les provinces qui s'approvisionnent chez les innovateurs aient accès à une assurance pour cautionner la livraison et la performance des technologies propres. L'instauration de telles mesures permettrait aussi aux sociétés exploitant des ressources naturelles d'acheter ces innovations tout en restant prudentes. A Canadian Low Carbon Economy Fund, or Green Investment Bank, could offer both project-based and long-term warranty insurance vehicles, acting like a Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation for the clean growth economy. This would mean establishing clear innovation criteria for the fund. Internationally, in the G77, we also need financial innovation for climate finance. Canada should deploy climate finance related overseas development assistance as a backstop to private capital, not as a substitute for it, again, as insurance, not liquidity. And with full knowledge of Canadian clean technology solutions, this too could be part of a green investment bank. And as we move quickly to level the and we need to move quickly to level the playing field with fiscal policies that take full account of our G20 commitments. Nous devons agir rapidement pour instaurer des conditions équitables dans nos politiques fiscales qui tiendront compte de tous nos engagements auprès du G20. Bien que nous ayons mis l'emphase aujourd'hui sur l'accélération du déploiement des solutions propres, nous devons continuer à investir dans l'innovation. Canada needs to invest in the next generation of innovation by doubling current investments in order to maintain technical leadership where we have established it and to stake out new areas of leadership. Now allow me to wrap up. There are worrying signs that Canada is in real danger of repeating mistakes of the past. This year's report makes sobering reading regarding the opportunities that have been lost and that could be lost in the future. L'industrie canadienne des technologies propres peut surmonter les défis qui entravent sa croissance. Les Canadiens le veulent et notre industrie le peut. Canadians want this industry to succeed, and it can. If we work together across the private and public sector, we will build an industry that serves society, the environment, and the economy. Je cède maintenant la parole à la ministre de l'Environnement et du Changement climatique.
Merci. Thank you, Celine. Et merci de m'accueillir avec vous ce matin. As you noted, clean technology is one of the fastest growing sectors in the world. World economies are shifting towards cleaner, more sustainable growth, and Canada must keep up to stay competitive on the world stage. We know how important it is to position Canada to take advantage of global opportunities to grow, diversify our economies, access markets, and create jobs. Ayant vu ce que peuvent faire les compagnies canadiennes de technologies propres et renouvelables, je peux vous dire que ce ne sont pas les bonnes idées qui manquent chez nous. Je pense par exemple à General Fusion à Burnaby, que j'ai eu l'occasion de visiter récemment. Il travaille sur des processus de création d'énergie qui ont le potentiel de révolutionner notre utilisation de ressources. Many of the recommendations Celine has just outlined are in fact already being actively addressed by the government through the work being done by our provinces and our territories, with our provinces and our territories, to develop a pan-Canadian framework on climate change, as well as Budget 2016. Le budget 2016 contient des investissements considérables pour croître l'économie propre. J'aime dire que c'est le budget le plus vert de notre histoire. Partout dans le budget, nous voyons des mesures qui soutiennent une croissance économique propre. Ceci est une reconnaissance importante de l'impératif qui traverse notre économie et notre bien-être. La technologie propre, l'innovation et les emplois feront l'objet de travail d'un de nos 4 groupes de travail établis par les gouvernements du Canada et des provinces, étant un pilier de notre plan pour combattre le changement climatique. Les technologies propres sont la clé de voûte de l'approche de notre gouvernement pour promouvoir une croissance économique durable. Elles joueront un rôle crucial dans l'économie de l'avenir du Canada. Putting a price on carbon, which our government is committed to doing, will also foster the kind of innovation that will build the economy of the future. By making it more expensive for companies to pollute and cheaper for them to operate cleanly, we will provide the right incentives for Canadian business to develop smarter, cleaner solutions that will create jobs and grow their business while reducing their emissions. We are also working internationally to ensure Canada's international climate financing serves as a catalyst to private sector financing. In fact, I just spent 2 days in Washington, D.C., meeting with the World Bank, with leaders from around the world, and with senior business representatives, calling upon business and government leaders to cooperate more closely and leverage funds more astutely. Budget 2016 provides support for a clean growth economy that will help Canada take advantage of new global opportunities, diversify our economy, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and create good jobs for Canadians. Celine mentioned a low-carbon economy fund a few minutes ago. In fact, a $2 billion low-carbon economy fund was just announced as part of Budget 2016 to support initiatives by provinces and territories to reduce their emissions. Celine quite rightly acknowledged the role of Canadian cities in fighting climate change and the need to encourage investment from cities in clean infrastructure. As outlined in the budget, starting in 2017 and 2018, over 2 years, we'll invest a further $125 million to enhance the Green Municipal Fund, which supports innovative green infrastructure ideas for cities and towns across the country. As well, Celine mentioned doubling government investments in clean technology. As part of Mission Innovation, an ambitious clean technology initiative that partners governments and the private sector, Canada has committed to doubling its investment in clean energy innovation over the next 5 years. By doing so, we will support clean energy, research and development, and work with global partners to promote cleaner energy and better environmental outcomes. Canada's strategic investments will help tackle climate change and give businesses opportunities to be part of the solution. Engaging Canadians on our plans and efforts to address climate change is something I view as essential. That's why we have an engagement strategy so that all Canadians, from coast to coast to coast, can take part in our efforts to create a climate-smart economy and country. In fact, watch out, this coming Thursday, we will launch an interactive website to collect the views of Canadians and smart solutions on how to fight climate change. Not only will all Canadians be able to feed their suggestions directly to the government, all comments received will be immediately published online in full, so we hope citizens will be inspired by the ideas of their friends and neighbors. The website will also offer Canadians the tools they need to hold town halls to engage their communities from the grassroots. The clean tech sector will be an important part of the solution, so we need your bright ideas. I encourage you all to join the conversation online and be part of the solution by making your suggestions online or hosting a town hall on climate change and clean growth in your communities. I'm sure all the green, clean tech entrepreneurs here in town this week for SDTC meetings will kickstart that conversation. I absolutely believe that the way forward for our economy lies in diversifying both our markets and our industries. Nous devons à nos enfants et à nos petits-enfants de trouver une solution. Et c'est seulement en travaillant avec les entrepreneurs et innovateurs d'aujourd'hui et de demain que nous allons réussir. I thank Analytica today for the recommendations, and I look forward to working with you to grow a cleaner, stronger Canada. Merci.
So, colleagues, I have 3 people on my list who I think we can get through before we lose the minister to our cabinet meeting at about 9:10. So, the première question, c'est Raphaël Bouvet-Auclair de le Service national radio de Radio-Canada.
Madame McKenna, il y a une étape importante. On faisait mention de l'accord de Paris. Avec ce rapport-là, il y a une étape importante qui va avoir lieu cette semaine. Pourquoi c'est important, cette signature-là? Qu'est-ce que ça représente, la signature de l'accord de Paris à la fin de la semaine?
Mais alors, c'est une étape, comme vous le dites, vraiment importante. On a vu 195 pays venir ensemble pour développer un accord très ambitieux pour faire certain qu'on peut s'attaquer au changement climatique. Mais maintenant, c'est important de voir l'accord de Paris venir en force. On a plus de 100 pays qui vont signer jeudi. C'est la journée qui va signer vendredi. C'est la journée de la Terre, Earth Day. Alors, c'est un signe très important et on commence à voir qu'on marche en devant pour faire certain que l'accord vient en place le plus tôt possible.
Une signature, ce n'est pas une ratification. Quand le Canada va-t-il ratifier cet accord?
Mais alors, nous allons ratifier cette année. C'est vraiment important que ça fait partie du processus. Nous avons le processus de groupe de travail qui a été conçu par le premier ministre et les provinces. Alors, ça va passer dans les 6 prochains mois. Et après ça, on va être dans la position de ratifier.
Cheadle, the Canadian Press.
Mr. McKenna, is your I take your presence here today as an endorsement of sorts for this report. Do you endorse all 7 of the recommendations? And I'm wondering specifically, there is money, as you've mentioned, for municipalities and which should spur clean tech. But it seems the specific problem is that municipalities may be reluctant to invest that hard-won capital in startup companies, and how do we make sure that Canadian municipalities invest in Canadian companies?
Well, thanks, Bruce. I'm looking for all solutions. As we announced, and I'm very excited that you will see on Thursday our interactive website where we're calling on experts from across the country and all Canadians to provide their input and their solutions. So this is part of it. The report has just come out, so obviously we're going to look very closely at the recommendations in the report. As I said, some of them we've already made announcements when it comes to the Low Carbon Economy Fund, as well as our commitment to put a price on carbon, but just in general, our commitment to clean tech. And so I certainly see cities as part of the solution in general in terms of tackling climate change. I think there's some very interesting ideas there that we need to consider. And what's great is the timing of this, because it fits in very well with our working group process. One of the working groups is focused on clean tech innovation and jobs. So this will certainly be something that will be considered by the working group and be looked at in terms of the recommendations that will be put forward to the Prime Minister and the Premiers, and also open to all Canadians. So hopefully municipalities will pay close attention too, because like Canada, like the Canadian government, they're looking for growth and jobs for the people in their communities, and this is a great opportunity.
Can I get your thoughts on this idea of backstopping in a CMHC style or mortgage style fashion, the government backstopping loans to small startup clean tech companies?
As I said, I mean, we're looking at hearing about all sorts of solutions, and we'll take the time to look at that. We recognize that there's a real opportunity for Canada when it comes to the clean tech sector. We need to be doing more, as we've heard from Celine, but I think there's a great opportunity, and so solutions like that are something that we'll consider seriously.
Madame Conroyal, Le Devoir.
Madame Mac, j'aimerais savoir, par rapport au secteur des hydrocarbures, le soutien qui va aux technologies propres, ça se compare comment? Le soutien du gouvernement aux technologies propres versus aux hydrocarbures, ça se compare comment?
C'est pour moi, je pense. J'ai pas entendu. C'était pour moi?
Non, pour Mme Mac.
OK.
Pour moi, pardon. Donc, le soutien du secteur des hydrocarbures est quand même a été noté par le gouvernement du Canada dans son engagement vis-à-vis le G20 pour faire de sorte que les subventions pour les hydrocarbures prennent fin. Si j'ai bien noté dans le budget de 2016, la date d'engagement en ce moment, c'est 2025, je crois. Donc, ces subventions se chiffrent dans l'ordre de 4,5 milliards de dollars. Ce sont des subventions de nature fiscale. Donc, est-ce qu'il existe des subventions ou des programmes de taille de la même envergure pour le secteur des technologies propres? Je dirais pas encore. Il y a aussi des subventions importantes qui se versent par l'intermédiaire de EDC, qui sont des prêts pour le capital de roulement auprès des grandes sociétés internationales, dont un grand nombre est fait auprès de grandes sociétés d'hydrocarbures. Donc, c'est un autre domaine où il y a des subventions pour le secteur des hydrocarbures.
Madame McKenna, vous dites que vous êtes très intéressée par ce que vous lisez dans le rapport, etc., mais le fait que le soutien, justement, au secteur des hydrocarbures est encore quand même beaucoup plus substantiel et solide que celui pour les clean tech, est-ce qu'il n'y a pas là quand même une contradiction de votre part, le fait que vous maintenez du côté des hydrocarbures jusqu'en 2025, peut-être ça répète plus court, est-ce qu'il n'y a pas là une contradiction?
Mais alors, comme vous l'avez vu dans le budget 2016, il y a beaucoup de programmes pour aider, pour faire croître le secteur de l'énergie propre. Nous avons